I'm Yuri Villanueva, TAPS bugler and co-founder of TAPS for Veterans. I wanted to thank all those who participated in the TAPS Across America event. It was a wonderful and heartfelt gathering of musicians and appreciated by all who witnessed and heard your sounding of those 24 notes. And many found out about our organization, TAPS for Veterans. TAPS for Veterans provides an opportunity for buglers or trumpet players to sound taps for military veterans' funerals and ceremonies. With the military unable to provide live buglers for every military funeral and ceremony, TAPS for Veterans is assisting to help provide that much-needed service. TAPS for Veterans is an organization led by former military musicians who acutely understand the importance of properly sounding taps, our national song of remembrance, as a way of expressing the nation's gratitude for a veteran's service. TAPS for Veterans is currently looking for buglers and trumpet players from across the country. Volunteers may be former or active military, civilian, student, or professional. Ultimately, we are looking for buglers with a strong desire to serve our nation. Visit tapsforveterans.org and sign up to be on our list of available buglers. TAPS for Veterans has also been behind some terrific events for buglers across our great nation. At each event, the mission was to highlight a certain anniversary or occasion and promote the use of live buglers at military funerals. Some of our past events of TAPS for Veterans have included, in 2012, Birth of an American Tradition, TAPS 150, which was held at Arlington National Cemetery and Berkeley Plantation, where the bugle call of TAPS was born. That commemoration was sponsored under the organization TAPS 150, which was formed especially for those events. In 2013, we did a bugle call remembered, which was the 50th anniversary of the John F. Kennedy funeral. This special ceremony held at Arlington National Cemetery commemorated that funeral service for the president on November 25, 1963, and also the bugler Keith Clark, who sounded the call that day. In 2013, our national song of remembrance was gained recognition, and this was the result of a lot of hard work by Les Hampton of New York. Our deep thanks go to Representative Tom Reed of New York, who sponsored the bill that was eventually passed by Congress. In 2017, 100 Nights of TAPS Gettysburg started. That program has a different bugler sounding taps at the Soldiers Monument in the Gettysburg National Cemetery each evening at 7 p.m., and this runs from Memorial Day to Labor Day. The program is done in partnership with the Lincoln Fellowship of Pennsylvania and the National Park Service. Because of the current health crisis, it's now being done online. In 2018, TAPS for Veterans participated in the TAPS for Senator John McCain and TAPS for President George H.W. Bush. We participated in a national sounding of taps for these two notable Americans. In 2018, we did the event Sounds of Remembrance, which marked the end of World War I. This was the 100th anniversary of the armistice on November 11th. We had almost 800 buglers who participated in that program. And these buglers were from around the world, sounding not only taps, but the call last post. Also in 2018, we participated on the 75th anniversary of D-Day, the anniversary of the D-Day landings. In 2020, TAPS for Veterans participated in the program TAPS Across America. The idea of TAPS Across America actually started in late April of this year as we noticed more and more Memorial Day observations were being canceled. That meant No ceremonies, parades, wreath layings, or gatherings in the cemeteries. So Taps for Veterans decided to do an event like the Sounds of Remembrance, which marked the end of World War I. That event we sponsored in 2018. The idea for the Memorial Day sounding of taps was to tie in our national song of remembrance with the national moment of remembrance. The National Moment of Remembrance is an annual event that asks Americans, wherever they are, at 3 p.m. local time on Memorial Day, to pause for a duration of 1 minute to remember those who have died in military service to the United States. The time of 3 p.m. was chosen because it is the time when most Americans are enjoying time off from work for the national holiday. The moment was first proclaimed in May 2000 for the Memorial Day that year and was put into law by the United States Congress in December 2000. The National Song of Remembrance was the result of the efforts of Army veteran Les Hampton, retired Air Force Colonel John Thomas, Marine veteran Mark Paradis, TAPS 150, and Yari Villanueva. We were able to push through the bill to have TAPS finally recognized on the national level. This effort was successful, and we are very, very thankful to Representative Tom Reed of New York for the introduction of the House resolution. Because of the current health crisis in the United States and the canceling of almost all events, we decided to have an event like the Sounds of Remembrance in 2018. Buglers would choose a location and sound taps at 3 p.m. local time to mark the National Moment of Remembrance with the National Song of Remembrance. The only thing was to ensure buglers knew to sound the call from their driveway, porch, balcony, or lawn and not try to attract a gathering. Social distancing was important in the planning of this event. It would be a neighborhood sounding of the call. We launched on May 4th and were attracting some pretty good attention on social media. We were around 500 players when we were contacted on May 18th by Steve Hartman of CBS News, who is their correspondent for the On the Road series. Steve had the exact same idea for a nationwide sounding of taps and was pleasantly surprised that not only did we have the same idea, but we had started actually recruiting players. CBS wanted to call the event Taps Across America instead of the National Moment of Remembrance Memorial Day Taps, which was a bit too long. I agreed with CBS and we pulled out the domain name, which I've had for quite some time, www.tapsacrossamerica.com. It's a website that I've had inactive for about 5 years. It redirects to TAPS Bugler for now, but it will be activated for next year's repeat event. We also own the Facebook pages Taps Across America, so it was a very good coincidence. So we modified the name of the event and started to use the hashtags, hashtag Taps Across America, hashtag CBS Taps, and hashtag Taps for Veterans to help spread the word. CBS ran the story with Steve Hartman and myself on CBS Evening News on May 22nd, the beginning of the Memorial Day weekend, and again on CBS Sunday Morning on May 24th. There was a follow-up on Tuesday, May 26th, after the event. This generated a lot of interest in Taps Across America, and the registration we had set up grew by dozens every hour. We are grateful for the partnership with CBS and Steve Hartman and their wonderful producer, Roxanne. By the time Memorial Day came, we had over 4,300 signed up to participate in Taps Across America. I would find out eventually that many more thousands participated in the event. Over the Memorial Day weekend, an interesting development occurred. Despite this being a call for buglers and trumpeters, we were noticing that many of the participants were going to play on instruments ranging from flutes, clarinets, saxophone, French horns, trombones, tubas, to bells, organs, bagpipes, and pianos. I wrote an article called Taps on a Flute. You can find that on the Taps Bugler website, which is www.tapsbugler.com. Now, I've been asked if taps would be okay on any instrument, and I've always stated that it is appropriate to have the call sounded on a bugle, trumpet, or cornet. As a military funeral honors, taps is reserved as a special musical tribute for those who served in uniform. That is sacrosanct. It is as important as the flag being presented to the next of kin, and it's meant to be sounded only on a bugle or trumpet. I do not advocate anything more than a solo rendition of the call at a military funeral. However, as a call of remembrance in the evening, it has become a call for all Americans. Taps has transcended its original military use. It has been used to mark the end of the day at many events. Many Americans can recall hearing it at summer camps, and many fraternal and paramilitary organizations have adopted taps as part of their rituals. The call was even incorporated into scouting. As a Boy Scout, I sounded the call at the end of weekly meetings. Girl Scouts have sung the words, "Day is done, gone the sun." Over the years, people have used the call to remember a loved one, even if they had not served in uniform. After national tragedies, such as a mass shooting or natural disasters, someone has always come and sounded taps on a bugle or trumpet. Those 24 notes bring a certain amount of comfort and a time for contemplation and reflection. It takes about a minute, and many use that moment to pray or to remember. And today, there are players who perform the call each evening around this country. Ever since the beginning of the current health crisis, players have sounded the call from their homes, their balconies, their front lawns, each evening at 7 p.m. I don't believe it's a breach of any type of military protocol. It's a piece of music for all of us. I have always observed that there are two pieces of music that stir the hearts of all Americans: the Star-Spangled Banner and taps. Taps has gone beyond the military in its use, as it has become a melody of peace, rest, comfort, and strength. Chaplain Colonel Edward Brogan, United States Air Force, retired, wrote in May 1999, "Lord of our lives, our hope in death, we cannot listen to taps without our soul stirring. Its plaintive notes are prayer in music, of hope, of peace, of grief, of rest. Prepare us too, Lord, for our final bugle call when you summon us home, when the trumpet of the Lord shall sound, and death will be no more." Can taps be performed on any instrument? Well, there is a wonderful moment in the 1945 John Wayne movie entitled "They Were Expendable," when a young sailor plays taps on a harmonica. It's a moving tribute to a fallen shipmate. Is it wrong? How can anyone deny these Americans from paying tribute to our fallen soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen? Because of these times where there was no public gathering for any Memorial Day ceremony, I thought it appropriate, as these Americans wanted to express their heartfelt gratitude to those who, as President Abraham Lincoln said, gave the last full measure of devotion. And for this particular Memorial Day, if a bugle, trumpet, or cornet was not available, it certainly was better to have some render a heartfelt version on another instrument rather than the electronic bugle. And they did. We've posted videos on our YouTube channel, Taps for Veterans Events, Taps Across America, and that link is provided. And photos. We have a photo gallery on our Taps for Veterans website. That link is also posted. Speaking of videos and photos, let me apologize for the issues many had with uploading videos to us and to CBS. Our servers got overloaded. It's a price of success, I suppose, but we've worked through them and have posted well over 650 videos sent to us. And we have lessons learned from this event for the next one that will happen next year. I do want to thank some very special people, Mark, Patricia, Heather, and Dan, who are the people behind the scenes. They made this all work, from social media, registration, Google Maps with pins of all the performers, and now the uploading and preparing of the thank you letters. Thank you letters are being sent starting next week and will continue up to Independence Day. At the start, we thought this event would only get around 500 to 1,000 buglers, but we wound up with over 4,300 participants. And that's not counting the thousands who didn't sign up but participated at 3 p.m. for the moment of remembrance. We have about 1,000 Taps for Veterans patches on hand, but thanks to the donations that came in, I ordered enough to cover everyone. Those will arrive around June 20th. We really wish to send these out in our thank you letter to you as an expression of our gratitude for you being part of this wonderful event. Please allow us to do that for you. We should have them all mailed out before Independence Day. If you wish to have any extra patches, please send us a self-addressed envelope and we will send as many as you need. Please send your request to Taps for Veterans, 124 Maiden Choice Lane, Baltimore, Maryland, 21228. Once again, that's Taps for Veterans, 124 Maiden Choice Lane, Baltimore, Maryland, 21228. Donations have been wonderful. Let me thank each person who donated to Taps for Veterans, as well as Taps Bugler. The money helps in so many ways. Website costs, emailing services, IT support, etc., etc. And we do operate on a shoestring budget, so every little bit helps. The mailing costs for this event came to around $5,000. This includes the patches, stamps, printing, mailing labels for sending out over 4,000 letters. This is important to us as we wish to express our gratitudes for all the participants for Taps Across America. As we push ahead, we could use your support as we make plans to have Taps Across America next year on Memorial Day, Monday, May 31st at 3 p.m. Taps for Veterans is also planning a very special event in late 2021. More information on that is to come, but I know that it will be an exciting and memorable event. And I truly hope that Taps Across America becomes a yearly event. But we do need your help. Anything you could do to help spread the word about this event and help fund us would be much appreciated. We are looking at upgrading the Taps for Veterans website and adding new features to enable making it easy for anyone to request a bugler for a funeral or ceremony. And we will launch the full Taps Across America website later this year that will have information and registration details for Memorial Day 2021. Once again, this all requires funding, especially with the IT costs, domain names and hosting services and all that. So if you could visit the Taps for Veterans website, that would be wonderful. And you can hit the PayPal button. Once again, thank you to the thousands of participants who made Taps Across America an incredible and memorable event. And I look forward to working with you all in future years. Thank you so much.